Yo, what's up guys? It's Jeff and today we have iOS 14.2 Beta 2. We also saw updates to watchOS, tvOS, macOS, and iPadOS, so if you're running those betas as well, you should see updates ready to install today. Now this iOS 14.2 Beta 2 update is super important and we'll get into why in just a second, but first let's cover some of the immediate changes that you'll see when you update. Okay, so first off, all of the changes and improvements found in iOS 14.0.1 are now present in iOS 14.2 Beta 2. iOS 14.2 Beta 1 was actually made previous to iOS 14.0.1, so that's why we didn't see all of the bug fixes that were made in that update and why we still had those bugs present in Beta 1. So with that said, if you had that ugly black box on your news widget, that is now gone. And in general, widgets are just working a whole lot more smoothly than what we saw in the first version of iOS 14. As for other changes, there was a fix to the Wi-Fi bug that would cause users to not be able to connect to the internet. There was a fix for the reordering of widget stacks. And there was also fixes for apps like Instagram and Snapchat to not freeze up when using the camera to take photos and videos. Now, I'm not going to go over all of the changes in iOS 14.0.1, but just for reference, if you want to see all of those changes, check out our iOS 14.0.1 update video to see all of what was improved in that official release. All of those changes are now present in iOS 14.2. Okay, so with those changes being covered, let's check out the finer details of iOS 14.2 Beta 2 and also see if there are any extra new features or changes on top of the ones that we have already covered in today's video. Okay, so we have iOS 14.2 Beta 2 loaded up on our iPhone 11 Pro Max here. Let's go ahead and check out the finer details. Software version is 14.2 obviously, and when we go to the build number, we have a new one. It's 18B5061E. Now, if we go farther down into this menu, you'll see we have Modem Firmware that is 2.02.00. And just in case you guys ask in the comment section, this Modem Firmware will not always be the same because it's on a per device basis. So I have an iPhone 11 Pro Max. If you have a phone like an iPhone SE or maybe an iPhone XR, your Modem Firmware might very well be different because you have different hardware in your device. So just be aware, if you don't have the same Modem Firmware as I do, it's not that big of a deal when it comes to Modem Firmware. Now, one thing that I really wanted to kick off this kind of like new features list with is if you go into the Apple Watch app now, in iOS 14, the blood oxygen level kind of test and everything was here. The setup mode was available and everything like that when you have your Apple Watch Series 6 watch on you. Now, one thing that in iOS 14.2 Beta 1 we didn't see was this access to blood oxygen levels, specifically because the first beta was actually made before iOS 14 was released and the kind of blood oxygen level app was approved. So now all of this works. So this blood oxygen kind of menu here works in the Apple Watch app. And then if you go on to the Apple Watch itself, I'm a little bit out of focus here for the watch itself, but if we go into blood oxygen level, you can now actually start that on watchOS 7.1, and that will work with iOS 14.2 Beta 2. So 7.1, watchOS 7.1 needs to be on the second beta for all of this to work. So just be aware of that. So any watch users out there who were having trouble with the blood oxygen test on their brand new Series 6 watches and they had updated to these betas, just be aware. Everything is working fine now, and that for me was a major update because I really wanted to run tests with this specific app. So stay tuned for that video. That's going to be a very interesting one. But let's go ahead and check out some other new features found in iOS 14.2 Beta 2. A big one is new emoji. A lot of you guys wait for new emoji, and finally we have some new emoji here. I'll have obviously the full list of new emoji on screen here. I'm not going to go over all of them, but a lot of people are going to be really excited for these new emoji that you can use in iMessages, Instagram, whatever you may want to use these in. There is a ton of new emoji, and if you guys are interested in checking this out, you can of course update to iOS 14.2 betas and check these out. Now, also in iOS 14.2 Beta 2, the Control Center has been tweaked just a little bit more. Now, previously, this button here was kind of inaccessible. We didn't really see a lot going on with kind of the bugs found in the Control Center. So this little icon up here was just a little bit grayed out. Now it's all white, so it's a little bit more relevant in this kind of form here. And when you go ahead and tap on that, this menu works so much better. Before, it was just really laggy. There was also connection issues to the Apple TVs and the HomePods that you were connected to, and that's all working a whole lot better here in Beta 2. Now, one other change that we found specifically with this menu is that on the bottom here, Control Center or Control Other Speakers and TVs, that was just 3 dots. That icon was 3 dots before in Beta 1. Now in Beta 2, it's actually representative of speakers and TVs and everything like that on the icon itself. So when you go ahead and tap on that, you can see I have my Apple TV and my Apple HomePod as well. You can see all of those devices. As I said before, if you guys were having any connection issues whatsoever in Beta 1, those are now solved in Beta 2. I'm always connected to my TV now and my HomePod as well. I'm having no issues with those whatsoever. Now, some other items were also fixed on the lock screen. So this is a screenshot of the old lock screen on Beta 1, and as you can see, I'm playing music. I'm actually playing music from Spotify, and as you can see here on the logo artwork, it actually shows that I was playing music from the news app. I was not. That was just a simple bug found in Beta 1. And also one other thing with Beta 1 and specifically the lock screen is there would be a huge issue with timeout. I would be operating controls on the lock screen for music and everything like that, and it would just time out and totally black out. That was just a simple bug that has also been fixed now in Beta 2. So if you're doing anything on your lock screen won't turn off, it won't fade to black. It will still be usable, and once you stop using it, then it will fade to black or turn your phone around, whatever the case may be. So those 2 issues are now fixed specifically on the lock screen here in Beta 2. Now, something else that I noticed in the Control Center is the hearing module was working just a little bit poorly in Beta 1. Now in Beta 2, it's working a whole lot better. Things are a little bit more accurate, so your headphone levels will be more accurate with just standard Bluetooth headphones. I noticed with HomePods, or not really HomePods, but the Apple AirPods, this feature always worked well, but specifically with other Bluetooth headphones, that feature did not work well at all, and that should be working perfectly now in Beta 2. Before, it was having a few bugs. It would kind of spike up and down, but now in Beta 2, it's actually working a whole lot better. So in this update, you should be getting better headphone levels with non-Apple Bluetooth devices. Now, one thing that I found in the Apple HomePod app is, as you can see, I am playing everything through Spotify. That is my main player of music. Right now, I'm actually sending it to my HomePod. So as you can see, it's going to my HomePod that is named Studio. Now, if I go into the Home app, you can see here that that is now reflected in the HomePod kind of application within the Home app. That wasn't actually working before. And also it would show that I was playing from Apple Music or something like that. All that is fixed now in the Home app, so things should be looking a little bit more accurate when you go into the Home app and operate your HomePod from this specific app. Also, one more change that I found within the Control Center, very late change that I noticed, is that if you are not playing anything, if you don't have anything playing, I can go ahead, switch it back to my iPhone. If you are not playing anything and there's no music app or video app playing in the background, you will have this new icon here. It just shows your iPhone, and that's simply just showing the source of where your audio is coming from. So I'm not exactly sure why Apple did this, but this is something new within this Beta 2 update, but maybe in the future, Apple will kind of expand on that, include other icons and everything like that. I would love for maybe this icon to be changed to maybe the last app player that you were using. That way you can just tap on it and go to maybe Spotify or whatever app that you use to play music. It would be nice to have that, but that is one other change that I found within this Beta 2 update. Okay, so those were the new changes and features found in iOS 14.2 Beta 2. And of course, if you find anything extra or anything you want to share, definitely leave those in the comment section down below. Now, before you go, there's 2 more items to discuss, and that's performance and battery life. 2 very super important kind of topics when it comes to iOS updates. Now, starting off with performance, and the performance is definitely higher than what we saw in Beta 1. Beta 1 was really a precursor to iOS 14.0.1, so by combining iOS 14.0.1 and iOS 14.2 Beta 1 together, we see much better overall performance here in Beta 2. What I've noticed is that the UI is a lot more stable, but it's also faster than the original version of iOS 14. What I've also noticed is that things are getting to be a lot more efficient, especially with widgets. Widgets, just in case you didn't know, take up a lot of battery life. And in iOS 14, the battery life was pretty awful when you had a bunch of widgets running on your home screen. Now in Beta 2 of iOS 14.2, you should see a lot better battery life with your widgets as Apple has improved efficiency in widgets and how they operate at a system level. Now onto battery life, and as I just said, widgets are a lot more efficient, which means battery life specifically with the use of widgets should be a lot better. Now, what I've also noticed is that if you're using an older device, like maybe an iPhone 8 Plus or an iPhone 7, the battery life was really bad when it came to widgets. So experiences on those devices should be a lot better, specifically when you have widgets running on those devices. If you're running like an iPhone 11 Pro Max, battery life should be just a little bit better, but overall, I didn't really notice a huge drop in battery drain due to widgets or anything like that. So those are some of the changes that we saw with the iPhone 11 Pro Max and some older devices in battery life. But if you guys have any changes that you guys want to bring to our attention in regards to battery life, let us know in the comment section down below. So with those items being discussed, I wanted to quickly give my recommendation for installing Beta 2. If you were on Beta 1 of iOS 14.2, then I'd say this is a must install right away type of update. This Beta 2 update brings all of the useful changes that we saw in iOS 14.0.1 and then combines those with all of the new features and changes that we saw in Beta 1 of iOS 14.2. In addition to that, performance is much better. Battery life is better, so overall your experience is going to be very much improved with this new beta from Apple. So yes, it is a highly recommended update from me. Okay guys, so that was today's beta update video, and just in case you didn't hear before, there's also a release of iPadOS, tvOS, and watchOS betas. So if you're on any of those, you should see an update for those platforms very, very soon. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. And if you want to see more content in the near future, definitely get subscribed, hit that like button, and also hit that notification bell button to get updates when we release content in the near future. You can also check me out on Twitter at JeffUpdated, and we also have a new podcast to check out. It's the new updated podcast. You can check out all of those items down in the video description down below. There will be links to the podcast and to my Twitter. Now, we also have some merch up for sale on the Cotton Bureau, these new shirts. These are so good. These shirts you can buy from our store, you can buy from anyone else's store on the Cotton Bureau. These shirts are so comfortable. So there's a link down below to the Cotton Bureau, our specific store, but also check out some other creators on that platform. These shirts are absolutely amazing. But guys, anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. But until I see you in some upcoming content in the near future on the channel, I hope that you all enjoy iOS 14.2 betas, and I hope you all have an awesome day.